How to remain calm under situations of intense pressure. How to remain calm when there is tremendous pressure to perform. How to remain calm in the midst of intense activity. Well, one word, practice. As we practice more and more staying present, as we practice more and more connecting with the dimension of presence, with the dimension of silence within us, it becomes more and more natural, more and more spontaneous, more and more easy. Right now, how easily and naturally we identify with this form, it needs no reminder. Same way, as we practice identification with presence within us, with practice it also starts to become more and more natural and more spontaneous. So to start with, it might be a good idea, I invite you to consider this suggestion, that twice a day it might be useful to just sit down and silence the mind and quietly, silently become intimate with the dimension of presence within us and sit in that state for some time. And then once we get up from our seat of meditation, try to remain in that silence for as far as possible and try to invite the silence to seep into our daily activities. One other very powerful way to remain calm during the day, during activity, is actually becoming aware of the inner energy of our form or of the body. Try to keep some attention within the body as we move along through our day. So right now I'm speaking and recording this video. As I am speaking, part of my attention obviously is being taken by what should I say and how should the words flow out of my mouth and how and what to say, how to say. But at the same time, part of my attention, say about 40-50% attention, should be within the body. And when we keep attention within the body, we experience a sense of groundedness, and we experience a sense of being here, truly here, silent. We remain in touch with our inner silence, and then action begins to flow from that silence. Therefore, as we pass through our day, it might be a very good idea to keep some attention within the body and not put all the attention outside. Some attention needs to be outside, but part of the attention should remain within the body, aware of the inner energy of the body. Basically being here, and here is where the body is. So this might be a good practice for one to consider. Can we seek inner silence through the chanting of Om? Of course. In my experience and practice, there are two ways to become silent using the chanting of the mantra Om. The first way is, as you chant Om, become aware of how the energy moves within your body. As you keep chanting Om again and again, bring all your attention within the body and become deeply attentive and aware of how it feels within the body, how energy moves within the body as the mantra is chanted. By like this completely staying within the body and paying attention to the inner energy field, gradually one slips into a deep state of silence. The other way is to stay with the sound of Om. So as we chant Om, just stay with the physical sound of Om, and most importantly, finally at the end of become aware of the silence that follows the chanting of the Om. So start with Om, become aware of the sound, stay with the sound, let your mind merge in the sound, let the mind move with the sound, and at the end, after when there is silence, stay in that silence. Become intensely aware of the nothingness that pervades the silence, and again start the chanting Om. Like that, by staying with the sound of Om and the silence that follows Ma, this way also gradually all the inner currents will be silenced and we will experience stillness. So these are, in my own little experience, two ways in which Om chanting can be used to silence the mind. The question is how to be a witness, how to witness one's thoughts. This question is fundamentally coming because we are very interested in the content of our thoughts, and that is Maya. See, it is like this: if something is written on the whiteboard, if I write something on the whiteboard, and if what is written is deeply interesting to us, we will be so engrossed in the content of what is written that we will not be able to notice the whiteboard, the empty canvas on which the writing has happened. To be able to observe the whiteboard, the first step is to lose interest, or at least reduce our interest in what is actually written. In the same way, most of us are deeply in love with our own thoughts, with our own stories, with our own ideas and concepts and beliefs and all the mumbo jumbo that goes on in our head. Actually, we take ourselves too seriously. The beginning of spirituality is to not take ourselves so seriously, not to take life so seriously, and to see that a thought is just a thought. That's all it is. It is just a thought. But we invest our entire being into a thought and make it something much larger than it is actually. It is simply just a thought, a flicker in consciousness, if you may call it so. So once we see that a thought is just a thought and that life is one big game, and really we are always here and now, and there is really nothing to be done, nothing to be attained, nowhere to be gone, it becomes easy to witness our thoughts. So the first step is to be able to create some distance. That is very, very important. Until we have created some little distance from our thoughts, it is impossible to be a witness. So one might start by watching one's breath. That is a useful practice. One should just sit quietly and just become aware of the inward and the outward movement of the breath. No need to breathe in any different way. Let the breath happen as it is happening. Just become intensely aware of the movement of the breath and let the mind and the breath merge. And as we are watching this breath, automatically the frequency, the number of thoughts in our head starts to reduce. And once the inner static, all the constant thoughts reduce a little bit, then also again it becomes slightly easier to become a witness. Actually, we are always the witness. We want it or not, we are always the witness. But our witness nature becomes hidden from us just because we are so interested in the content of our thoughts, in the content of our life. We are so enamored by the content of our life that we miss life itself. And this is bondage.